Hey everybody, back. How you doing, man? Doing good? Excellent. Let's get right into it, shall we? So, as I mentioned on the Discord, these sound alerts should all be working now. I've been through them all individually, reworked them. They should all be fine now.
Light shines on heaven, earth and spirit.
Yeah! Good one, man.
Glory and grace. May it open our eyes to the truth. Shanti, Shanti. Divine light, our heart cries out to you, deliver.
You're that worried about Surf?
We're comrades.
That's not what I meant. Surf can't protect you. Can't you see that I'm stronger than him?
That's not true.
Heat, you're hurting me.
Come on, you saw what happened back there. I could have killed him without even trying.
I already know you're strong. But strength isn't everything, Heat. Surf.
Maybe we should stop leaving Heat alone with Sarah. How you doing, Zeke?
Hey, what's going on? Why you just standing there, huh?
It's nothing.
Ugh.
I have bad news.
Is it that we're all getting new
It seems
songs?
that Vishuddha has been overrun.
You
I
said
do
the
appreciate the
wolves would
reference,
last
thank you,
longer
Zeke.
than that.
Welcome on in, Flame.
Though it defies probability, the fact is undeniable. And to make matters worse, the remaining members of the Solids have been forcibly enlisted by the Brutes tribe.
We probably should have done something about that at the time.
At this rate, I am afraid they will destroy us all.
Oh, give me a break. Didn't Surf kill their boss? Why did the Solids join the Brutes, huh?
Argilla, tell me, would you follow Varen if he defeated Surf?
Of course I wouldn't.
Heat?
Huh?
The sound alerts are working now, though.
Exactly. The law states that members of a defeated tribe
Yeah, how you doing, Clem?
obey the leader of the victorious tribe.
Tell me why,
Ain't nothing but a
That rule has been
heartache.
disregarded.
tell me why,
Ain't nothing but a mistake.
tell me why.
I never wanna hear you say I want it that way.
It sounds to me like you knew about this all along.
But the other sound alerts are working as well.
If the wolves had held
Go on,
out,
it's good stuff.
we could have fought the Brutes
We've
together.
only just started, but we're ready to go.
That is why this is so unfortunate.
Boss! Lupa from the Wolves. He's asking to see you.
Did you say Lupa?
I'm sorry,
Where
are
did
you
come
the
from?
boss?
Well, you wouldn't believe it if I told you. We have them detained at Svaristana.
Let us go, Serf.
I'm sorry, are you the boss? It's something that, like, in the Quantum Devil Saga novels, novelizations, semi-novelizations of this, a lot of Gale's lines are specifically just done by Surf. Are we doing this again? God damn it. Okay, so note to self, don't open the menu near the start of a stream. Yeah, in the Quantum Devil Saga novelizations, a lot of Gale's lines are taken by Surf, which makes sense given that Surf is supposed to be the leader. And in this, it feels like Gale only says them because Surf doesn't speak. So yeah, if you want to type, if you check the Discord and the sound alerts page, or type !SFX, all of the sound alerts will pop up. And they are all working now.
I am the storm that is approaching.
Provoking black clouds in isolation. This is the sewer section. What up? Alright. Bye-bye. Alright, so we've got all 5 party members now. I need to decide who is going to be in the primary party. There we go. Yeah, I think that's probably fine. Yeah, I can understand that. And Tatsuya doesn't gain enough of a personality to compensate for it. It's like one of the... I think it's the only case of that kind of thing happening in the series. But that's only because, like, they don't really make previously vocal characters into main protagonists. I think the only exception to that is Aegis in Persona 3 The Answer. But she still gets to talk in The Answer. Does she? I feel like she does. But I guess didn't have much of a personality to begin with. He does. Excellent. How are we doing for mantras? Also, I need to swap. Yellow has mutual karma, that's fine. Yale has Chaka Walk, I want to swap that for mutual karma. There we go. That way they'll still get full experience even though they're not in the party. Yeah, I don't recommend anybody play Final Fantasy 2. Not a good game. Oh, Clem, I think you'll enjoy Angel and Angelic. No, not yet. Yeah, you weren't expecting that one. It really is. Like, did you catch the end of our FF7 remake stream? Meh. Teak has sent me things. On the modded playthrough, we replaced the remake One Winged Angel with Advent Children One Winged Angel. And like, yeah, it's so goddamn good. Like, there were a couple of replacements we did. A bunch of the music was replaced with various things throughout that playthrough. It's hard to be aware of all of them because I'm not overly aware of remakes soundtrack standard. But like some of the stuff was like the original Train Graveyard track. Like there's a version of it in Remake, but it doesn't play much, or doesn't play in the Train Graveyard. Like mods put it properly in the Train Graveyard. Same for the sewers and such. The original theme from FF7 when you're in the sewers, the do 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 do. I put that in there. But we're able to get 2 Advent Children tracks. It's interesting. I don't think we had music replacing that fight. But we were able to get 2 Advent Children tracks. One of them was Advent Children One-Winged Angel. The other was the final phase of Genova Dreamwalker. Replaced the music for that with Advent Children Genova, which plays during the battle with Kadaj. And that was good. Partly because I feel like the theme they play for that fight is like, oh great, Genova, I love that they're doing something with the Genova theme. But also, like, the theme they use in that fight is really understated. Just, like, mostly understated with the hints of Genova, and then you get to the 3rd act, and it hits with Advent Children. And I feel like it really worked. It was nice. I think the only music we had to do with the bike was, like, bringing back original Crazy Motorcycle, or The Chase. It's referred to as both Crazy Motorcycle and The Chase. But we got that, we played that, it was good. Why does Heat have so much more mastered than Surf? I don't think it's as simple as just an MP3 replacement. Okay. Like a card it could be useful. The FMV replacements are probably simpler because they're specific FMV files, and if you can just replicate the file type, easy enough. Which is exactly what we ended up doing. Alright. As far as weird cat-like female demons go in this, it's like, Alp is always weird. And, like, Nekomata much more appreciated. Ah, okay. Bow, bow. Awesome. Well, at least our Jilla gets locked in for once. Still need a key for that. We have the yellow key. So we can take a look at what's through here. Well, it's only Praetors. Anything good here? Ooh. I'm gonna have to start farming those at some point. They're required to max out your stats, and we're gonna need max stats for even having a chance with Demi-Fiend. Anyway, let's go for the sewers, shall we? You know, I really hate it when people talk in riddles. Alright, so let's see what's going on with this.
State your business.
Will the Embryon assist us to defeat Varen?
Under what conditions?
Your leader will receive my head. In exchange, I ask you to treat my men fairly.
Gale!
What assurance do we have that you are not here on Varen's behalf?
I vow upon my honor.
Honor? What is this honor you speak of?
I see it within you as well.
I do not comprehend. How does one see such a thing?
I can see it in your eyes.
Interesting how long Gale goes before, like, actually getting emotions. Sewers.
Cyber Shaman?
Varen has referred to the girl that way. Supposedly, she could easily destroy this world with her power.
Hey, are you all right?
She doesn't even know anything about herself. How could she have such power?
Can you
Amnesia doesn't
honestly say
preclude
you
power.
know yourself?
What?
I've had several dreams about a child lately. In these dreams, he calls me Father.
Dreams?
I feel as if I have something to tell the child. But
What's a
perhaps
child?
someone else will, in my absence.
Someone else. That is illogical. I do not understand. Why do you not just tell him yourself?
Have you ever seen a child here in the junkyard? You're beginning to understand. Why must we continue to fight this war? For what purpose does this world exist? Why have we developed identities? Once Varen is defeated, it is then that you will discover the truth.
Comb the area! Varen's gonna kill us if we don't find them! Did you find them? Search down that way!
I wonder what specifically determined who the leaders were prior to demon transformations.
So they found this place too. Up ahead is an entrance to their base. Go and kill Varen. I'll buy you some time.
Against all those guys? Ha! Now I know you crazy.
I was the leader of my tribe. You are the ones in danger.
What do you mean?
The wolves fell to Varen alone.
He did that? All by himself?
Yeah, because he's got a
He's become
dickish
unstoppable somehow.
technique.
You cannot defeat him alone. In fact, her power may be the only way.
My power?
As promised.
Lupa. There is someone I must meet as well. Let us go to Nirvana together.
In order to rule over the tribes, you must defeat their leaders. Will the temple make an exception?
Would you be allowed to surrender?
If not, we will destroy the temple.
Oh, that's illogical.
So be it.
He's pretty big. Like, you look at the forms we've got, and they seem pretty weird. Then you look at the forms some of the other people got, and you realise how conventional ours actually are. Alright, sewer time. Man, it's a really cool point when they bring it up. Because you wouldn't think about it. Why aren't there any children here? Alright. Try and get through the sewers today. I don't know how long this stream's gonna be. Going too well. There we go. It might be time for us to start sticking dine skills on, actually. It also might be worth me going back to the previous playthrough and going over Varen's strategy again. Because I remember Varen was a dick to deal with. I think. Yeah, maybe it is time to set down. Because if we're going in the linear path, there's not actually that much of the game left. There's the sewers, there's Varen's base, and then it's the Karma Temple. And then that's it, that's the final area. Actual gameplay time is like another 20 hours. First playthrough, at least. Like, we may be late enough to start justifying this. I don't think we need Diaharan, though. Most because our HP is not that high. So we're working Gale in the right direction. want that on the map. Because we're going to come back to all these areas after we've got the keys for them. The real concern is, can our MP regenerate fast enough to compensate for the dying skills? Because the cost of each individual one is double a tier 2 one. Ideally, I'd like to get MP walk, but it is so expensive to learn that mantra. So that's not going to be for a while. Nice. No curse might be worth it. Again? Getting really tired of curse them. With us being close to that save point, we're not that far in. We can use this to teleport back to the start, and maybe I'll just go to a vendor. Buy some more disc curses. No, you know what? We're just gonna null curse. Does everybody have null curse? Nobody has null curse. Guess we're buying those disc curses. Yeah, health-wise, though... might be worth, like, just binding for a while. Hmm. I have to go through the Vanguard's base to get to a goddamn shop. Anyway. The problem with these encounters is they're too low level to really be worth it. Alright, save point will be a quick teleport back to the beginning. I could buy like an Astoma. For running through the Vanguard's base faster. This game has such a good art design. Like going through this here, and it's just like the cleaner resolution, and that pack that upscaled a bunch of the UI elements. And like, you could believe this is a remaster, and it's just that simple because of how clean the game is anyway. The art aesthetic is so well done. Yeah, ideally I'd like to leave the grinding off as late as possible, to make it as beneficial as possible. Yeah, it's because they're all 2D assets and such. But even then, like, the texture work. There are PS2 games with character models that don't look as good as this, even upscaled. I don't know, maybe it's because the designs are simple and clean and such. Like, even the texture work on the character looks pretty good. have a picture that I took the first time I played Star Wars Knights of the Republic on Xbox One. And it's like, that game looks great. What they've done with it is it's rendering at like a native 1080p and such, yada yada yada. But the UI isn't. The UI is just upscaled because it's a flat picture that they've upped the scale of like 4 times. And I've got a picture of like the UI, the character portrait that goes in the bottom right of the screen, and it looks awful. But yeah, with the that pack I got that upscales a bunch of the UI elements, like, it looks really nice. But that's just the UI elements. The game itself looks great. Plus, let's be fair, in comparison with Nocturne, like when Nocturne came out in HD, the Nocturne HD remaster came out, there were a bunch of quality of life features people wanted for that, stuff like skill inheritance, being able to choose what skills demons would inherit rather than it being random. There's not really anything like that with this. Excellent, just in time. I don't think this game would really need any kind of rebalancing. DDS 2 might a little bit. That game gets very grindy towards the end. Even before Mega Nada, DDS 2 is grindy as hell. And then you hit Mega Nada and it's like... Yeah, this game looks great. And the game just being more available would be really good as well. Never going to drop that as just a conversation piece. This game should be far more available than it is. Yeah, the interface is always, like, the losing point of it. And you can see it here when some of the UI elements haven't been improved. Like in battle, the portraits are still really blurry. See it there. But I think, like, out of everything on the screen currently, it's just the portraits that haven't been improved. That texture pack's, like, really good work. I remember rightly, these guys are immune to physical. I don't think that could necessarily be a bad thing if you're willing to, like, keep hold of some of your older consoles, or if, as we are right now, backwards compatibility continues to be a thing. Backwards compatibility should never have stopped being a thing, and it's frustrating that it did. And it's... While it's great that the PS5 and the Xbox Series offer, like, complete backwards compatibility with the previous generations, there's still so much from the generation before that that is just unavailable because they just stopped doing backwards compatibility for, like, basically two whole generations. Sony was basically 2 generations. They let the PS3 be backwards compatible with PS2 and then stopped, and never offered a good alternative. Absolutely. The PS5, like, if the PS5 could play discs as well, there's like one of the main things the Xbox has going for it is the playability of discs. It's like, oh, I can just pick out one of these discs and put it in my Xbox and it'll work. It's like, oh yeah, let's pick one out, shall we? Here's a good example. Call of Duty World at War still has the price sticker on it. I paid £6 for this. Buying that digital, Activision wants like 15 on sale. So if that was backwards compatible on PS5 with the PS3 version, as it is now, like, they wouldn't have disc support. You'd have to pay for it specifically. Which means Activision gets to completely control the price. Backwards compatibility with Xbox has been fantastic, like better than could have ever expected. Because it's not just, oh, you can play these games on the system. It's you don't have to buy these games specifically for this system, and also we've improved them. It's essentially commercial emulation. Which you can argue, like, all of it is. Sideload emulators. Yeah. Like, it's essentially commercial emulation. You can argue, like, all backwards compatibility is. But one thing that a lot of people forget with these emulators is that a lot of these emulators, especially for disc-based consoles, you or Earth, right? Yes. Especially for disc-based systems, a lot of them give you the option of just putting the disc in. And they'll read the game from the disc and play the emulator that way. And that's what Xbox is doing. And it's great. The biggest problem Xbox has as a backwards compatible idea is that it's a younger brand than Nintendo or Sony. Like, what advantage would Sony have with it? Well, they've got the PlayStation. It's a generation before, which means they have more they could offer. What advantage does Nintendo have? They're two generations before PlayStation. There's so much more there. But they both dropped the ball with it. Honestly, with how awkward, like, Xbox 360 emulation and PS3 emulation is, I think if you want to play that generation on a modern system, Xbox is absolutely the best way to go. Just because of how many of those games are playable with no fuss. And especially to the layman. Like, the person who has no idea with emulation, no idea how to set them up, how to do any of them. Like, Xbox is great, you just pop the disc in and it'll download the game for you. And then you play it. And a lot of people forget Like, the PS3 and Xbox 360 generation, while it had problems, there was a lot of interesting and good stuff there. Well, there's foreshadowing that Looper's not eating. I suppose Microsoft has an advantage in backwards compatibility with the Xbox 360 that PlayStation doesn't have with the PS3, because the 360 was a reasonably designed console. Whereas the PS3 was Sony's custom-built architecture that was just always a nightmare to develop for. Like, people forget about that. The PS2 was a nightmare to develop for. Yeah, it's not really fair that he gets to have immunity and reflect, but no weakness. You say that, Teak, but how many of them are easily playable? How many games past 2005 are actually playable in any reasonable form on PC? From, like, say, between 2005 and 2010. That don't need some kind of adjustment, they don't need you to mess around with them. You don't have issues with stuff like mouse acceleration or games for Windows Live. Stuff like that. Or controller support. Like, I've got Fallout 3 and Fallout New Vegas on Steam. If I ever stream them, I'm probably just going to stream the Xbox versions because I don't have to worry about any of that bullshit. I already own when you streamed it, yeah. I've debated buying the Bulletstorm remaster on Switch. I haven't actually bought it though, Mir. I debated buying it. Because it's like £4 and it comes with the Duke Nukem DLC. But I haven't actually bought it because, honestly, I don't fucking want it. It is available on PC, and I do own it on PC, but it doesn't have game, it doesn't have control support. Here's one for you. Here's a game that is currently available. I'm not gonna say this is a good game, and it's probably a bad example, but here's a game that's currently available for sale. You can buy this on Steam and GOG. Yeah. I will use a controller if I want to. That is my God-given right. Silent Hill Homecoming. Is it a good game? Is it worth playing? No. But it's being sold currently on PC in an absolute garbage form. Anything else back there? Yeah. I have to pull out the rest of the shelf. Which in itself speaks to part of the problem with just PC gaming in general. It's like, oh, how many games are available for purchase on a modern platform? Quite a few. How many of them don't work? Quite a few. You can buy Silent Hill Homecoming on PC. It's on Steam and it's on GOG, and it is a terrible port. chances are it won't work, and if it does, it's going to require a lot of messing around with, probably fan patches and such. But it's on sale, so you can buy games that just don't work. I can own Jedi Knight like twice. I own it on Steam and GOG, and neither version worked. I wonder if it'll stay that way. What Mortal Kombat games do you have on GOGT? Is 4 available on PC? I feel like with all of those though, I'd be more comfortable just emulating them. It's like Metal Gear Solid. You can buy Metal Gear Solid on GOG, and it's the integral version. So it comes like all the bonus stuff that was only in the Japanese integral version on console. It comes with VR missions included. It's like, you can get that, and I've considered buying it, but it's just simpler at this point to just emulate the PlayStation version. You do have MK4. Now I have to ask the question, see, why do you have MK4? And when is the Mortal Kombat franchise Friday? I'd be down to join you with that, actually. I have far too much needless knowledge of Mortal Kombat lore. I have far too much... I feel like that applies to basically fucking everything. I have far too much knowledge about lore in general. I can definitely understand that. As it is, because, like, the old Mortal Kombat games are arcade fighting games that I'm not particularly interested in to begin with. So my thoughts with doing any Mortal Kombat stuff on stream has been like, start with Deception, because Conquest mode is an actual story mode. It has a goal and a stopping point. Now, don't do anything with Scorpion or Sub-Zero. Do a history of Reptile. Because then you have to include like the whole Deadly Alliance sequence where he worked with Natara to find, what was it? Find the Dragon Egg. Find the Dragon Egg and the specific artifact that would allow her to separate her realm from Outworld, which also then led directly into Mortal Kombat Deception, where Reptile's body was possessed by the spirit of Onaga. And so Onaga, as you fight him in Deception, is actually Reptile's body, just mutated into the Dragon King. I can respect that idea, Teak. The problem is, like, MK2 and MK3, like, just Shao Kahn in general, even on Novice mode, is bullshit. Cool, but weren't you weak to lightning? Chip damage, yeah. Like, of all the Mortal Kombat games I'd be willing to do for stream, like, Deception, Shaolin Monks, Armageddon, 9, 10, 11... 9 is, like, the one I'm like, because the story mode where you have to fight Shao Kahn twice and he's still bullshit. And it's like, with Liu Kang, you can kind of get away with it, spamming fireballs and flying kicks when needed. Raiden doesn't get that. With Raiden, the only way I managed to work it out was to specifically learn Shao Kahn's tells to teleport out of the way. I'll sleep. Right. I heard they were debating doing that Mortal Kombat Arcade Collection remastered again, but then I didn't hear anything else again about it. It's like, that was what they were supposed to do when they released the Mortal Kombat Arcade Collection. They were supposed to be like remastering it and redoing it and like taking new pictures for the sprites and stuff. And that didn't happen, they just put out the collection of the first 3. Which, they should have included MK3 in there as well as UMK3. But that's besides the point. I heard a little while back that they might be doing the HD collection idea again, and then I didn't hear anything else about it. That'd be cool. That'd be something I'd be very interested in. Despite my lack of actual interest in classic MK. On various characters. I don't know how I would feel about another Mortal Kombat. NetherRealm gets a lot of praise for the story modes in Mortal Kombat. And it's like, yeah, they were like one of the first companies to really do a big focus on story modes in fighting games. But also, like, they're just not very good. Yeah, reset the universe again, so now they can go back and ignore characters again, and pretend other characters don't exist again. It's always one of my biggest complaints with MKX. Like, how many characters appear in the story mode that are not playable, that they didn't bother to make playable? It's like, hey, you finally succeeded in making Stryker a character I want to play as. Cool. He's only in one game, we're never going to bring him back. Okay, why? Now, a big part of my problem with fucking MKX doing that as well is the MKX had that
The only way.
frustrating obsession with guest DLC characters. Oh, I forgot about this. You say that, Seek, but most of them weren't from Warner Brothers. Not an MKX. You could argue it in MK11, not in MKX. Like, it wouldn't surprise me if Warner Brothers does actually own Spawn. Plus, like, none of the Joker is. Ninja Turtles are Injustice too. No, I think they are. Yeah, but we're talking Mortal Kombat. It's like, if we're going into Injustice 2, it's like, yeah, no, not Warner Brothers. Hellboy, Ninja Turtles. I had the other one in my head. There was another guest character. I can't fucking remember who they were. Yeah, I think, like, what you're thinking of is specifically just multiverse. Which, like, that character roster's weird. No, Kratos is Sony. Freddy Krueger is New Line. I feel like Rambo is Lionsgate. I don't know who owns Friday the 13th. And at this point, that is a question that would be up in the air after all the trouble with the Friday the 13th game and just license in general. Yeah. So you kind of defeated your own point, Seek. Everybody's cursed. Honestly, though, just overall, going outside of the Mortal Kombat Injustice stuff, I'm tired of the focus, like the over-focus on guest characters in fighting games anyway. Like Tekken 7, almost its entire first season was guest characters. Soul Calibur, like Soul Calibur's always had guest characters since Soul Calibur 2. The other interesting game, Battletoads, was cool, and like a big part of that is because they didn't take up a significant number of DLC slots. It's like Soul Calibur 6 got Gerald from The Witcher, and I think just 2B. Like, that was it. Okay, these guys should not have weaknesses. Three's a bit too much. No, I suppose, like, if it's one per season... Alright. That also still frustrates me with Dragon Ball FighterZ. You know the situation is bad with Dragon Ball FighterZ when I was excited that they were adding Videl to the game. It's like, oh cool, we're getting Videl. At least it's not another Goku, but I think she was announced alongside another Goku. It was like Jiren, Videl, and another Goku. Not taking that back, Clem. Like, Nail would have been fun. It's like, okay, we're going to have a whole fighting system that doesn't have power levels as a thing. So characters like Master Roshi can be viable. Yamcha can be viable for like the first time ever. And it's interesting, and then they just spam the roster with various versions of Goku. It's like, cool, what was the point of any of this? Yeah, like, if there's one per season, like, it's not awful. What, for Dragon Ball FighterZ? Honestly, not worth it. Story is considered the worst part of that game. There are people who do the raids on Dragon Ball FighterZ who hate that to get like the best equipment to slot onto your character, you have to do the story mode. Because it's awful. If you want a Dragon Ball game with an interesting story, check out Shin Budokai Another Road on PSP. Yeah, the campaigns are more about wasting time and then fan service that doesn't really feel appealing. Like, the concepts of the fan service is neat, but the execution is not. Yeah, like, if you want an original Dragon Ball story mode, check out Shin Budokai Another Road on PSP. The idea of it is Trunks goes back in time to get help from the Z Fighters when Babidi arrives in his timeline. It's like, yeah, Super just said the whole thing of, like, Trunks immediately killed both Babidi and Deborah because he doesn't fuck around like the others do. But, like, there's actually an interesting story around it in the game. Because they make them actually a threat. And Babidi decides, hey, maybe I should use my mind control spell on more people. What a fucking god with this curse bullshit. Yeah, like one guest character per season isn't awful, I guess. I think NetherRealm's definitely been like the worst with it though. Like Mortal Kombat 9 gets 4 DLC characters, one of them is Freddy Krueger. It's like, why? Mortal Kombat 11 gets, like... Mortal Kombat 10 gets actually quite a few DLC characters. Most of them are, like, horror movie villains. For some goddamn reason. Injustice gets 6 DLC characters. And it's like, cool, we can add more DC characters to the DC fighting game. Who can we have? Batgirl? Okay, that's a cool addition. I feel like we've got too much Batman representation as it is. But Batgirl is a good idea. Zatanna? Excellent, love that idea. Martian Manhunter? Yes. Lobo? Absolutely. Put the main man right in there. Zod? Interesting, I'll go with that. Scorpion? What? Where does this go? No, I don't like that Scorpion was included, and I never will. It was unnecessary. And then Injustice 2 did it worse. It's like, okay, we're going to have most of these characters be guest characters anyway. In the case of Hellboy and the Ninja Turtles, at least they're actually comic book characters that can fit in with it. But then they also have Raiden and Sub-Zero. And again, it's the thing of like, you know, we could have just had more DC characters. See, I would agree with you there, Teak, if Mortal Kombat wasn't already very well represented in its own fighting game. Like, NetherRealm doing Mortal Kombat Injustice says to me we didn't need in Mortal Kombat in Injustice. Like, oh, what? You can't wait another couple of years for another Mortal Kombat game? Well, we'll put Mortal Kombat characters in Injustice. Why? No, we don't need any of them. Take them out. Replace them with characters that would actually fit. And I say the same thing with MKX. Remove all the guest characters, replace them with characters from the actual fucking game. Like, you know who's not playable in Mortal Kombat X who should have been? Baraka. But no, we desperately needed to play as fucking Leatherface. It especially frustrates being the Injustice case because, like, before Injustice, like, what DC fighting games were there? Like, before Injustice, the DC fighting games were Justice League Task Force and MK vs. DC. So it's like, oh cool, so like the third DC fighting game ever? How about we actually focus on having having DC characters? I feel like that might be worth doing. I think I'm done screwing around here. So, what if there's one of these places leads to a key? You see, I'm not going to necessarily disagree with that, Seek, and the best example of that is Black Lightning in Injustice 2. He's a premium skin for Raiden. And that says to me, like, why not just make Black Lightning the primary character and make Raiden the premium skin? And I've said before with Sub-Zero, like, yeah, make him a premium skin for Killer Frost. There are ice-based DC villains, they could have just put them over. Yeah, there's nothing actually down here. See, I don't think it would have been that bad if the DC characters were still the focus, but they weren't. It was about putting Mortal Kombat characters in there. And it's frustrating, especially considering we just come off a Mortal Kombat game. I just think we could have done better. And then, like, the problem continues in MK11 of most of the DLC characters are just guest characters. Yeah, and I think that in itself is also a mistake. But that then also goes beyond the Joker. Like, yeah, we've just come off a DC fighting game that the Joker shouldn't have been in to begin with. It's like, okay, we're going to take one DC character and put it in there, and it's the Joker. Why? But then even beyond that, like the issue of Robocop's in there, Terminator's in there, Rambo is in there, Spawn is in there. Spawn would have made more sense as a guest character in Injustice, because you're still fitting into the comic book stuff. But what would have been better... Oh, hey, Thornius. But what would have been better is just, like, Mortal Kombat characters. Which brings up something that's actually kind of a complaint of mine with MK11 anyway. MKX introduced a decent number of new characters, most of which are then just thrown away in MK11. It's like, oh, who do we get to keep? Cassie Cage and Jackie Briggs. Pretty much everybody else is gone. Takeshi Takeda, gone. Hung Jin, gone. See, I'm treating them as two separate series because they're presented as two separate series. They're not presented as Mortal Kombat vs. DC 2. Let's get out of this place. I'm tired of this. Where do you lead? Where do you lead? Oh, that's lame. That'd be like a secret room. Like, we get back to the original issue of guest characters, which, like, was the point we were starting on anyway. And it still goes back to the problem of there are too many guest characters in fighting games, when these fighting game franchises have rosters of their own, legacy characters of their own to pick from, that they're just ignoring in favor of guest characters that don't fit. And it's a bad showing when we consider the Soul Calibur 6 with 3 guest characters isn't as bad with it as other games have been. I'll make Sophia my main in Soul Calibur. Tired of playing Siegfried. Yeah, they picked the most recent NetherRealm game because that's what NetherRealm is supporting at the minute. It's not about them being the same series, it's about what they're supporting. If Capcom put out more than one fighting game, then they do the same with that. Dragon Ball Fight is dead. Is Dragon Ball Fight is ever at EVO? But then I feel like EVO isn't a good qualifier anyway because they decided to have 2 versions of Smash there. Pretty sure, yeah. Like I said before, like EVO, when they had 2 versions of Smash, it was a bad idea to have Smash Ultimate and Melee. And I get it, you want to appeal to the Melee fans, but also, like, Melee is an old game. If we're gonna have that, why don't we have other old games? This prick. No, Melee has an obsessive fan base. But then so do other classic fighting games. If they brought Third Strike back, Third Strike would have a fan base that would absolutely go crazy for it. If they brought MVC 2 back, there would be people who would go like absurdly crazy for it. Oh yeah, no, EVO gets 9 games as the big showcase games. 2 of them shouldn't be from the same series. Yeah, I get that, but there's also the thing of, like, you shouldn't have 2 games from the same series as part of your main lineup. You've got 9 games you're showcasing. Often, at least one of them is a game that isn't even out when the lineup is announced. Melee has an obsessive fan base. That's it. You could take it off the main roster and say, hey, we've still got Melee over there. Go and deal with it over there. Yeah, it means it has an audience in the same way MVC 3 has an audience. In the same way that MVC 2 has an audience. I feel like we're not going to agree on this. And maybe I'm in the wrong with this. Maybe I'm just old and out of touch. Which is entirely possible because, honestly, fuck you. But I'm going to stand by my opinion on this. See, I think my idea for it would work better. Like, you have just one retro fighting game in the lineup. But maybe let people vote on it. And if that ends up being Melee, fine. At that point, we can't complain. Doesn't really matter anymore because Nintendo said we're not allowed to play it anymore. Also, I feel like somebody should force people to move on from Melee. Not as a casual game, but just like as an obsession. That's probably harsh. I don't like these guys. So, in other news of, like, big video game events that people probably care about more than they should, I saw earlier this week, it's Tuesday, what the fuck do I mean by earlier this week? I saw, like, it was probably over the weekend, or it was yesterday, I don't remember, that GDQ has announced it will not accept submissions for runs from Hogwarts Legacy or any Harry Potter game. Which, don't care about, we're not getting into that discussion. But the article also listed other games that they do not accept submissions from. And it was a weird list. And I don't remember everything from it, but like one of those games was Ion Fury. And I'm like, what's wrong with Ion Fury? I can see if I can find that article again. Because, like, it was a weird selection of games. There we are. The Escapist article. Other banned games on GDQ's disallowed list, including games that carry an adults-only rating, understandably. God of War, but specifically the first God of War, not the God of War series. Five Nights at Freddy's series and Ion Fury. Most of the Sakura games. Not Sakura Succubus, interestingly enough. That's interesting. The Guy game. That's fair enough, because that is, like, technically child porn. Oh, they've updated Honey Pop to include the sequel. How many of these have I heard of? It still bothers me that Criminal Girls is on there. Dramatical Murder. I've not heard of that. Battle Rape I can understand. BMX Triple X, understandable. I don't know what Criminal Club is. I don't know what Cobra Club is. Criminal Girls. Again, like, that's weird to me, especially because, like, that game was censored in the West. I don't know what Cuckold Simulator is, or Dramatical Murder. I know what Ethnic Cleansing is. Gentle Jousting, I can have an idea. Grezza 1 and 2, I don't know. Harem Party, I don't know. House Party, I might have seen, but I don't know. Honeycomb Studio, I know. Honeypop 1 and 2, I do. I don't know Kamidori Alchemy Meister. I don't know Negligee, I don't know Porno Studio Tycoon, Put Into a Horo, which they've listed twice, Perino Party, Really Offensive Doom mods, thank you Flame. Radiator 2, I don't know, Rayplay I do know. Yeah, I thought you deliberately listed Twitch. Rinse and Repeat, I don't know, Sakura series I'm aware of, and I have a lot of them on Steam because of bundles. Mostly because, like, they're very short, simple visual novels that you can sit down with for a couple hours and just do. But I'm surprised it doesn't have, like, all of the Sakura games on there. GDQ links to this, yeah. Second Life, that's surprising. Suck My Dick or Die, I don't know. The Maiden Rape Assault Violence Semen Inferno, I don't know. What's Under Your Blanket, I don't know. Witch Trainer, I don't know. Yandere Simulator, I do know. And I was kind of interested in that years ago because it looked like very Hitman-esque. But as far as I'm aware, it's gone nowhere. The Guy game is honestly kind of fascinating. Yeah, it's still not done. I've heard that the Yandere dev is actually just like a major dick. And like refuses to accept any kind of help with it. Refuses to port the code to a more reasonable base. I refuse to do a lot with it. Really, enlighten me on this, T, because I'm not aware of this. That's frustrating. I wasn't aware of that, and that's frustrating. Because Iron Fury is a really good game. Really good callback to the build engine days, being being built on the build engine. Any idea about why God of War 1 is on there and not like 2, 3, any of the others? Because if I was to assume it was for like the sex stuff that you can do in the nudity, I would assume 2 and 3 would be on there, but it just specifically says God of War 1. Right. See, I've never actually played God of War 1. To avoid controversy, yeah. The excessive harassment of people playing Hogwarts Legacy has been just awful. Yeah, that'll do. Is it something I want to get into? Probably not. It's not a cut and dry situation for people. What about other cases? I'm sure I've heard of other cases of it. The whole thing's frustrating because it's not a cut and dry situation. Girlfriend reviews someone you actually watched. Fair enough. At this point, I'm primarily glad that I just don't care about Harry Potter anymore. So I feel no actual interest in playing it. I don't have to feel torn between supporting a transphobe and playing something I want to play and not supporting a transphobe because of my morals. It's not a pleasant situation in any regard, though. I don't support it. I'm gonna just leave it at that. I don't support it. I don't support the game. And then, like, that's it. We're leaving it at that. You know, and just shoot him. I will say there was at one point an intention to go through the Harry Potter games on stream. Like, the games based on the movies, because I thought it'd be a fun thing to do. We're not doing this. I thought it'd be a fun thing to do, like, go through some games that we grew up with, see them as they went, and then play the ones that I didn't end up playing when I was younger. But at this point, it's like, no. We're not doing that anymore. Yeah.
Come on, your ass is mine.
It's a complicated enough consideration to begin with. It's like, you don't want to buy it because you don't want to support a blatant transphobe. And that's very understandable. But the degrees of separation, like you say, are an important... Would you fuck off with your curses? Degrees of separation, like you say, are an important thing. In not buying it, because of that, like, there's been the talk of people pirating it to avoid that. It's like, but what about the people who works on the game who are going to be relying on this to actually pay them? And then the question of that becomes like, what does J.K. Rowling actually get out of it? We should pay a flat fee for the game. We should get royalties. If she gets royalties, then that's the problem. Like, Magic's been playing Hogwarts Legacy recently, and I know Magic is, in at least some degree of seriousness, a Harry Potter fan. I mean, you guys know me. I don't support hate like this, anyway. People deserve to be able to live the way they want to live as long as it doesn't harm other people. Are trans people harming other people by living? No. Is J.K. Rowling harming other people with her transphobia? To a degree, yes. Absolutely. But there's the possibility that the success of the game could also determine whether or not those devs still have jobs next month. But then there's also the other side of it, people deliberately going out of their way to purchase it to anger trans people and anger people who are in support of trans people and not in support of J.K. Rowling. Which in itself is just, what is that, baiting? That is also a point. Because the industry is just garbage. I'm not going to play it, but again, a lot of that has to do with the fact that I wasn't interested to begin with. My interest in Harry Potter died years ago. So I don't have any kind of moral conflict with that. I can't say that I'd be tempted to play it if I was still a Harry Potter fan, because I'm not. So I can't just metaphorically put myself in that position.
Don't underestimate me.
We stop getting ambushed. Distracting me from this conversation. I'm not going to watch somebody play it, but that's for the same reason I don't watch people play other stuff. It's because I don't care. I have no interest in it. If I'm watching someone play something, it's because I'm interested in the game or the person. But nobody that I'm interested in is actually playing it, with like the exception of Magic. I don't get into Magic streams often anyway. It's a difficult thing to really properly explain, because I understand why people want to play it. Harry Potter was a big part of their childhood, a big part of their identity, which, as weird as that is to me, that they make something like that a big part of their identity, like, it matters to them. And it's not great. Not great for them. I don't know, I mean, like, what would be a good comparison? Like, if George Lucas came out as a transphobe, and all of a sudden Star Wars was in the same place? Except Lucas doesn't get paid from Star Wars anymore because he sold it. That in itself is also fair enough, man. Although I think it also helps that a lot of the stuff she's put out since has been objectively kind of shit. I don't support her. I don't want to support her. I have no interest in supporting her. But I don't want to hate people who are still caught up in the whole idea of Harry Potter because it meant something to them. It meant a lot to them. Because a lot of us grew up in that position, in that place, when Harry Potter was big, when it meant something to a lot of people. I really enjoyed Harry Potter when I was younger. And it's just general apathy that's led to me not caring about it in the same way that I don't care about a lot of things anymore. But a lot of people aren't there. So is it... It was the thing with Rurouni Kenshin, wasn't it? Like... Was the guy a child molester? Child porn, yeah. Hmm. I wanna wrap this entire thing. It's like, I understand why people want to play this. It's the Harry Potter game they were after for years. And Harry Potter meant a lot to them, and it still means a lot to them. And they're disassociated enough that J.K. Rowling as a person doesn't matter to them. And I don't want to hate those people for playing the video game. I think harassing them is absolutely the wrong idea, and like people need to stop that. But at the same time, we absolutely shouldn't be supporting J.K. Rowling as a transphobe anyway. At the end of the day, I can only really speak for myself and not other people. And I'm not going to be playing it, I'm not going to be buying it, I'm not going to be watching it. I'm not going to be supporting her. But in all honesty, I can't say that's because she's a transphobe. It's because I don't care about Harry Potter anymore. It just happens to be convenient that she's the person who created this thing that I don't care about anymore is the transphobe, and it happens to be convenient that I don't care about that series anymore. So it doesn't become a conflict for me. I'd like to think if it was a conflict, I would choose not to support the hate. And, like, absolutely agree she's an awful person and she needs to stop. But it's a hypothetical. I think the problem is in how public she is, Seek. Like, if Lucas came out as a transphobe, or a homophobe, or just someone who is generally hateful, would we still support Star Wars? And it's like, the new stuff? No. But the old stuff, like the old Star Wars stuff, I absolutely adore. Would I still support that? And that would be a genuine quandary. I think ultimately it should be more on Warner Brothers to maybe cut ties with her over it. But they won't because Harry Potter draws in too much money. And you can see that immediately with the success of Hogwarts Legacy, and like it sold more than Elden Ring did. Already has outsold Elden Ring. And Elden Ring was like FromSoft's biggest game. Yeah, like to properly cut ties with her, they'd have to stop doing Harry Potter because she owns it. They can't buy it off her because they can't give her anything that she'd want. Because she's got enough money to never want for anything again. I think, like, the way it ends up, the way I'm gonna be with it, is I don't support it. And I would hope other people also don't support it. And that's as far as I can go with it. I suppose I have the luxury of not being trans, so it doesn't directly affect my life, which is essentially a position where there's not really anything else I can say about it. It's why I don't really speak about these issues all that often, because they don't affect me and there's not much I can say about them. So, at the end of the day, I'm not going to support her, I'm not going to do any more with Harry Potter. But I'd be lying if I said I was going to do anything with Harry Potter to begin with anyway. So I can't be, like, all high and mighty or self-righteous about it. And that's where my whole thing with this ends. That's it. There was a minor thought at one point of possibly doing a playthrough of the games that I played as a kid. I may or may not have ever actually gotten around to. And now I'm just not going to, and then that's kind of it. If you're going to put me down to the wire, absolutely support trans people. And I hope, like, going through this and, like, back and forth and babbling over all this hasn't made me look any worse as a person. So Mega Man Legends, meh. Be a new game. Does that game transfer save data to Legends 2? Don't think so. Tronbon, maybe? I don't know. Keep trying to get Clem to play more of the Mega Man stuff. By like more of the Mega Man stuff, I mean like more of the weirder Mega Man stuff. Because Clem's done like Mega Man's 1 through 10. He won't do Mega Man and Bass no matter how much I prod him. He's done Mega Man's... He's done X 1 through 4. He's not done 5. Clem's still here. I never really played the Battle Network games. I did all 3 Star Force games, which are essentially the spiritual successors. I don't know if I'd call them particularly great. That didn't sound good. Try it without PS2 noise.
Live in ignorance and purchase your happiness when blood and sweat is the real cost. Thinking ceases, the truth is lost.
It's choppy. What coming through is choppy for me? Maybe that's just the stream issue. Yeah, that's probably likely. Try one of the other ones.
I've come here from nowhere, across the unforgiving sea.
Mic audio sounds fine. I don't know, maybe you guys are hearing something I'm not. But then, like, fun secret fact, my hearing's not great. That one sounds fine. Excellent. Let's try and move fast.
Move fast, baby, don't be slow. Step aside, reload, time to go. I can't seem to control all this rage that's inside me.
That one's also fine. So it's just collective consciousness. Alright.
Live in ignorance and purchase your happiness when blood and sweat is the real cost. Thinking ceases, the truth is lost.
It doesn't sound choppy to me, maybe a little compressed. It doesn't sound choppy though. Now ignorance is working. Right, so you guys are hearing it how I heard it then. If you guys want to try out all the sound alerts, like, go ahead. You get an idea of what they are. I don't like that this fucker got 2 turns and he used both of them to try and confuse us. I know, because it sounded fine to me. It just apparently came out weird on stream. Yeah, if you guys want to, like, check through those, see what you think of them, go ahead. I don't know how long this fight will be. Also, if you want to find out like what they actually are. There's some in there that I think are probably fun. What a fucking god. Stop doing that. And what do we got that you guys might find fun? We of course have the return of Mantis.
Psycho Mantis.
Is weapon on there? I thought I didn't manage to get that again. I need to take weapon on. But then you presumably also wonder, like, what the other one is. I feel like Clem might be the only one who'll know what that one is. Damn, I was throwing shade at you and you didn't even realise it, Clem. It's the game over screen for Symphony of the Night. But then I realised, like, you didn't talk about having much trouble with Symphony of the Night. It was Rondo of Blood that you didn't, like, you had trouble with. You want to pick one, Clem? See what you think of it. I think just up ahead is a teleport room.
The self-destruct sequence has been activated. Repeat, the self-destruct sequence has been activated. This sequence may not be aborted. All employees proceed to the emergency car at the bottom platform.
I feel like you knew what that one was. I feel like you knew what that one was going to be. No, it's from Blue Stinger Teak. Oh, I didn't realize these guys are weak to wind. I, of course, made sure to get these back.
Success!
Speaking of melee. Yeah, and then down there is where we fight Looper. Thanks for joining us, Clem. I think at this point we're just gonna run through the sewers and do a bit of grinding before we call it. But I'm probably gonna be done within like the next half hour, so you won't miss much. Thanks for joining us, Clem. Here's one for you, Clem. You take care of yourself. Alright. Yeah, I saw that, and... Never really been into twin-stick shooters, like, outside of, Smash TV. Yeah, it is also mobile. Alright, so over there is where we'll face Looper. Yeah, I suppose I was into Binding of Isaac at one point as well. To a degree. Wasn't as into Binding of Isaac as I was, like, Dead Cells, though. Which I finally bought all the DLC for in preparation for the Return to Castlevania DLC. Which you, of course, know I'm going to end up picking up. Dead Cells is fun. I'm not overly fond of the jumping difficulty, though. Like, to actually consider to be complete, to have completed that game, you have to beat it 5 times. Like, raising the difficulty each time. Raising the difficulty 1 notch each time. And, like, the difficulty jumps quite a bit with each notch. I'm not, like, a huge fan of that. I've been meaning to get into Enter the Gungeon. I've done a little bit of it, and it's fun enough. I guess that is twin-stick shooter as well, actually. Well, I've not properly got into it. I will say, though, I sat down for like 3 days and played almost nothing but Vampire Saviors. I'm sorry, Vampire Survivors. I remember saying after that game came out, like, I was seeing it all over the place, and I kept thinking, Like, at a glance, it said Vampire Saviors, and I was always disappointed that it didn't. Because if it was Vampire Savior, then it would be Darkstalkers. And it'd mean Capcom is doing something with Darkstalkers, which they're not. Yeah, I spent like 2 or 3 days playing like almost nothing but Vampire Survivors. It was fun. Oh god, a pixie! Oh god, a pixie! Uh-oh. Yeah, Vampire Survivors was fun. Well, you want to talk about Castlevania, like, I'm amazed that the people behind that haven't been... Like, there's not been anything said between them and Konami that we're aware of. Because that game takes Castlevania stuff. There's no denying it. A bunch of the artwork is clearly based on Castlevania. The bonehead enemies from, like, the sprites from Castlevania 1 appear in there, and I'm almost convinced they are just the sprites from Castlevania 1 for the boneheads, the bone pillars. Like, there's enough in there that it's like, that game is clearly doing Castlevania. And I'm very surprised there's been, like, no word on it from Konami that we're aware of. Like, looking at the game, I feel like it was something that was intended to kind of just slip under the radar. It sells for £4. Like, not even on sale, it just sells for £4. So it's very likely it was intended as just like one of those cheap, crappy games that pops up every now and then on Steam. And at this point, the consoles, because there's no regulation standards, it seems, on those anymore. But then it just kind of surprisingly hit it big on Twitch and got more attention than they would have wanted. The game itself's fun, though. It's quite addicting. I'd say it's worth a lot. Beyond that, I don't think I've really dug any time in, like, any proper time into a roguelike since Rogue Legacy. I mean, since Dead Cells. I did Dead Cells after Rogue Legacy. Dead Cells came out after Rogue Legacy. You got any roguelites you want to recommend? Seek or Mir? I feel like Mir might play roguelites. Alright, so that's a big one, so we can just teleport back here. Wizard of Legend, what's that like? I have that, I think. I don't have a game called Wizard on Steam. What am I thinking of? Wizard something. Well, I think you're left with only one solution then, Seek. You water out. How long does an average run last? How long does an average run last, man? Is pizza a bad thing right now? Probably in the whole piece. Yeah, I managed to complete it, more a bunch of spells, work on final one. That's fair enough. Let me know how it goes, man. I could possibly be into a new roguelite. If I'm not just going to throw myself at Dead Cells again. 5 to 10 minutes, yeah. It's a weird thing with Vampire Survivors, a successful run is 30 minutes. Like, specifically 30 minutes, because you survive for 30 minutes. Which is, like, that's a lot of time. A lot of time for a roguelike. I feel like there's still a lot down here that we haven't explored. making to the 30-minute mark. I feel like there's two kinds of Vampire Survivors run. There's the run where you get to 30 minutes and nothing has been a challenge, and there's the run where you get to like 15 minutes and all of a sudden one thing is thrown at you that for some reason you just can't deal with. I used to play a lot of FTL. Was always hoping they'd put that out on Android, but the mobile version was only ever on iOS, which is a real shame. Because I would have probably played a lot more of that if I could just have it on my phone. Because it was a game I was already invested in. I never completed FTL. I never completed a single run. I could get to the final ship. And there was one point where I almost got it. But, like, I never managed to beat that final ship. Yeah, I would never say that it's balanced. Yeah. Like, there were runs that could just end in the second section if you would just unlock it. And, like, it was frustratingly common for that to be the case. There we go. Oh, this one doesn't do it in one. Yeah, I would have definitely ended up playing a lot more FTL if they'd put it on Android. You could at least fight against. Yeah, that always felt kind of arbitrary. Like, oh, you've pushed the wrong thing, and now you just lose a crew member. Which crew member? It's random, but it's always going to be the one that's, like, the most valuable. Like, oh, did you get one of those crew members that, like, upgrades, like, whichever station they're at jumps up a tier without you having to upgrade it? Then that's the one you're going to lose.
I'm sorry. I'll make this quick.
No, I'm not doing this. What were other ones I played? I played a bunch of Binding of Isaac, but like the original version. I sunk some time into Rebirth, but never as much as the original. Yeah. I get the idea of it, but with how frustrating that game was to play to begin with, just losing a crew member with nothing you can do about it was always awful. I'd be down for like an FTL 2 that's better balanced. What else was there? Let me check my Steam library. Offensive drones were always a pain to come up against. XDX. The furthest I ever got with that was actually playing it with Utique. But that's mostly because I haven't spent a whole lot of time on it on my own. Assuming Shadow I played a little bit of. That's the game made by Yahtzee. It's fun enough. A roguelike with a Cthulhu influence. That's pretty good. Modifier that made the game never stop. That sounds like a fun modifier. I'm looking forward to 30 XDX. See, I would always try that because you get more out of it if you can pull it off. But almost every time, the ship would blow up before I'd destroy oxygen and kill the crew. Like, the crew would just fix the oxygen and I'd fire again to destroy it. And they'd fix it too fast and, like, the ship would just end up being destroyed. Does 30 XDX have a release date? Oh, it's out in early access. I should add that to my wish list. I'm still thinking like console terms for that kind of thing. It's like I like playing 20 XDX. But it looks like a Flash game is like one of the biggest hurdles of it. And you get past that long enough to actually play it and like you can enjoy the genuine quality. The only thing I'm particularly aware of with 30 XDX though is like it looks like a 32-bit Mega Man game. Which like that aesthetic looks fantastic. And I'm absolutely down for it. And it's like, you know, I'm glad that we had the whole 8-bit, 16-bit renaissance thing in indie games. I'd like to see something... I'd like to see more stuff go a little higher, though. And some stuff does. Like, Hollow Knight's a beautiful looking game that's 2D. It doesn't look pixel. It looks more like... It looks more like a painting more than anything else. Well, I think pixel art style with higher pixel density. I suppose Dead Cells is also just like that anyway. Like Dead Cells is pixel art, but like it's really higher. It's like higher tier pixel art. What's a good way of describing it? Like higher bits? I don't know. Ugh. Want to get as much of this mapped out as possible. Yeah, I don't know. I like the look of 30XX. It looks really nice. Hmm. Hmm. But yeah, Dead Cells DLC comes out March 3rd. All of my Dead Cells playtime, though, is pretty much all on Switch. I have it on PC, I had it on PC before I had it on Switch. Like, almost all my playtime is on Switch. So it'd be a good idea to get prepped for it. Get a save file prepped for it. Where that one goes. We stop with this. Let's see where that one goes. This is kind of tedious. It's weird to me that Fornius has the same death sound as the Absora. I would have thought it'd have like a deeper sound. So where does this lead? Come on, go faster. I think this is most of this mapped out now. Which creates the question of, like, what's the point of reversing the flow? Where's the goal? This one, maybe? This gets me there in 6 turns, which is the fastest way I've seen so far. I don't care. Fuck off, I'm busy. Six. So we're here. Where does this take us? This was the goal. Alright, worth doing. I think with that done, we're going to get to a save point and call it. With the red key, though, that means that I'm missing... blue key? I think is like the only one. I'm sure there were some locations that only had red and yellow walls. Yeah. I wonder if these keys are necessary for finding Demi-Fiend. God damn it. I really hope it puts me back at the actual entrance and not where I came in. Awesome. Two down with guns. Nice. Alright, heal point, save point is there. But there's a closer one that we can use to teleport. We don't need to teleport. Hmm. Good news is, since we got the save point at the end, there is also a big terminal, a large terminal. At any point, we can teleport from any of the save points down here to that save point, once we're finished exploring. But yeah, that's going to do it for us for today. I want to thank everybody for joining the stream. I always really appreciate the support. Big express thank you to everybody in chat. Chat is always the best part of the stream. Mir, Teak, Clem, Blame. I think that's everybody. I don't think Ninja was in here today. Was Ninja in here? I don't think so. We might be back tomorrow. I might take a day off because I've streamed for like the past 4 days. We will see. But if not, then we'll be back. Let's see what. Yeah, if not, then we'll be back on Thursday. In which case, we'll be starting Hades. Yeah, but yeah, that's pretty much it. So there's not really anything else to say, except thank you all for watching. Have yourselves a fantastic time of day. And yeah, we'll catch you next time, guys. Bye.